Welcome to This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your local experts on all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Listen in as they discuss the current state of the market, the latest trends, and have a little fun while doing it. We do want to say the opinions voiced on this podcast are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individuals. Welcome back to another week of This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, where we're putting the shine in your sunshine.
I think that was a bald joke.
Oh, no. It was.
Oh, no. Where's John?
From a bald guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, at least there's that.
Yeah. Uh-oh. We got a problem. We're good?
Bryan, carry us for a second.
Bryan, carry us for a second.
Okay, so the camera's off on Jonathan, so the microphone might be off on Jonathan.
No, microphone's good.
Microphone's good. So Jonathan can talk. You just can't see Jonathan right now.
Oh, that's okay.
So
I had a funny conversation with my one of my sons today. You can't see me right now, so we can talk about this. But I'm wearing a Metallica T-shirt and a blazer jacket. And so he said, "Why are you doing that?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "It looks weird." And he goes, "You're like rock and roll T-shirt and, you know, like a nice jacket." And I said, "Yeah, it's a thing." I said, "Your mom also said that it was crazy," but I said, "No, look it up. It's a thing. Like, it's a fashion thing." And he's like, "Oh." So, well, it looks crazy. And I said, "Well," he goes, "What are you even doing today?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to be on a podcast." He goes, "Is it a video podcast?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "So literally anyone in the world could see you today wearing that." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, I said, "I think it really kind of communicates who I am, you know, got a little bit of metal, got a little bit of business going on kind of at the same time."
it's like mullet.
Only it's all in the front.
Business
Yeah.
in the front,
That's
party
it.
in the back.
And he goes, "Well, what it really says is you have all these ideas going around in your head at one time and none of them want to stick around." And I'm like,
I'm not picking up that.
huh, he's not wrong.
No, but I don't get that from what you're wearing.
So anyway, it was pretty funny.
Last Friday, Eric and I went to the Tennessee Mortgage Bankers Association and Nashville Mortgage Bankers Association awards dinner, and you know, she's got a dress on, and I come out. I'm wearing my suit.
Were you wearing a dress too?
No, I was wearing a.
It's cool if you were.
I was wearing a suit. I even wore a tie to it. And so I come out though, and I had the suit on, but I hadn't put the tie on yet. And she looked at me like my daughter. She's 12, basically. She's gonna be 12 in a couple weeks. She looks at me with the biggest side eye. Like, I said, "What?" And she's like, "Your outfit's just so mid." And I'm sitting here thinking, man, like I'm rocking like a suit, you know, like I've like dressed up and looking, and it's a good suit, it's a new suit, and I look sharp. I'm about to put on a tie. I never ever wear ties. And she just looked at me like,
Why?
I don't know. I don't have any idea. I was
Well,
like, this is.
you can just tell her that mid isn't even used anymore, so she
Yeah.
needs to get caught up.
Yeah.
Well, it has been my experience. Your daughter has opinions.
She does. Yeah.
She has opinions.
Yeah. Yeah.
She certainly does.
She sure want to talk with her little fake acrylic nails that she glues on her fingertips every night.
exactly.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait, we don't say meh anymore either, huh?
Yeah,
So
I guess
anyway,
not.
whatever.
We should do some real estate talk. Trent, are we all good?
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right, let's do this.
Let's go straight to market movers and headlines.
Headlines.
Thanks for bearing with us, y'all.
Meh.
Back to you.
All right, so I've got a headline today. This is from the website called Real Estate News, and the headline says, "Deeply rooted housing shortage worsened in 2025," and so basically, it's talking about that we have a deficit in housing availability, and you know, from a purely economic standpoint, we know that this is true because even as we've seen. You know, the number of transactions literally get cut in half since 2020 to now. It's actually less than half. Prices really haven't moved too much. I mean, they kind of came down just a tiny little bit last year, but they certainly have not, you know, plummeted like they should have with that the amount of demand. Well, one of the reasons for that is that at the same time that demand has dropped off, supply has as well. And so, according to Realtor.com, the deficit of houses grew to 4.03 million units in 2025. So, in other words, there was enough demand, or pent-up demand, or hidden demand, and I'll get to that here in a second, that we could have had 4.03 million more units for sale. This is not rental, nationwide, and it would have filled the gap. The year before, it was 3.87 million. So it jumped a fair amount. And it's the highest since 2020. In 2020, it was like 4.23 million. So, my question, as I'm reading this, I have a little bit of skepticism, because I'm like, well, I don't see that much demand here, hyper local, right? And what they're saying is that with rates being where they were, but then also with this shortage, there's a lot of folks that, because the shortage exists, your prices stay up, where if the shortage didn't exist, prices would fall, right? And then that would bring that affordability index back in line, so that rates and prices would be at that affordability level. And that would, essentially, they're saying that would get folks out of their parents' basement. And then also it would open up the doors for some of those people that are handcuffed by the low rates and high prices from 2020, get them moving. It would just kind of, logjam. So it's interesting to see not just a conversation about rates needing to change in order to open up the logjam, but also overall supply. It is also saying the industry is still playing catch up, but even if construction jumped 50% from the 2025 pace, Realtor.com economists estimate that it would take up to 7 years to erase the deficit. And understand this, the holdup on a lot of this is land. Like, where are you going
to build all these houses? Like, at what point do we have to start going vertical?
That's exactly right. And that's a big part of this conversation, right? Now, there's land in other places. And so from our perspective, right here in Rutherford County, that's a legitimate conversation. You get outside of sewer coverage, and I mean, let's face it, we live on a giant piece of limestone. So you got to have land that's you can put a septic system or a step system, either what you're doing, and then you got to justify the cost of that infrastructure. It's very expensive.
I was in Nashville yesterday for Day on the Hill, and unbeknownst to me, the Home Builders Association of Central Tennessee was also there. Mm-hmm. So in between some meetings and sessions and things, I got to pop in there and talk with them a little bit. And that was a sidebar. That was really cool. But one of the things that I heard was that our Senator Shane Reeves told them that Tennessee loses 9 acres an hour in farmland.
Mm-hmm. I believe that
9 acres an hour in farmland is lost. That's mind blowing. And how much can you lose and still provide sustenance and provide the environmental benefits that you need from agricultural land? And
I think that's where some of this, there's no such thing really as a national housing market. Like, that's not really a thing, right? Your housing market is local and then hyper local.
Yeah.
And so Rutherford County is not the same as Polk County, right? Or Lake County, right? We're just not the same. And so a lot of your agricultural land, you get outside of Rutherford and the counties that surround it and the counties that surround Davidson, you get outside of this pocket, and Tennessee is still quite rural.
Yeah.
And then you get out into the middle of, whatever, Kansas or Oklahoma or whatever, and it's quite rural. And so that is one of the things that it pointed out, is that the housing shortage is significantly greater in your places where job growth is happening.
Yeah.
But then get this is also really interesting. So that was all Realtor.com stuff, right? National Association of Home Builders estimated that it's really more like a 1.2 million unit deficit. And then the National Association of Realtors is somewhere in between there. They're saying but they broke it out into price ranges, which I thought was really interesting.
That's relevant.
Yeah, I think that's important, right? 367,000 at 170K or less, 416,000 at 255 or less, 364 under 340. So I think that's important to point that out as well. So if we build, a bunch of 1,000 square foot townhomes in rural wherever, and they're, under 170K, that solves one problem, but not all the problems.
Yeah.
So a couple of other thoughts on this. We have to keep in mind that this problem really started probably 10 years ago. And then when the market took off, a couple of things happened simultaneously. You had hedge fund buyers that entered the market and bought a lot of those affordable houses. Those will never be available again. Plus, they build their own neighborhoods now. There are some that are building their own neighborhoods, and rental building went up, apartment complexes, things like that. Well, all of those things being built also pulls our labor force away from building single family detached houses and puts them building these things that don't satisfy that gap.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a big part of it.
And the materials, the cost,
all of that.
That affects the cost of materials, which affects the cost of homes.
Absolutely. And so just as an example, in Rutherford County, the price of land, the price of labor, it is just almost impossible to build. I'm gonna just say it. It is impossible to build $170,000 single family detached home, even attached, right? You just can't do it. The math doesn't work.
I don't know how much more you have to cover, but if you're about wrapped up, that is a fantastic segue to this week's Shiny Penny. Yeah,
absolutely. So bottom line, look at the gaps. And I'd be interested if you want to comment on how you feel that, how you see that.
Yeah.
So Shiny Penny?
Shiny Penny.
Back to you.
If we were a radio station, that's when we would have gone to commercial break. But like a little tease at the end of a segment here. So yesterday, I got to spend the time at the state capitol working alongside fellow members of the Tennessee Mortgage Bankers Association for their Day on the Hill. And there were two big things that we were up there talking with legislators about. So for those who aren't familiar, Day on the Hill is when an organization will go to the Capitol and they will have meetings with representatives and senators across all aisles, as many as you can. You'll send 5 or 6 people into their office and sit down with them and talk with them about your agenda. So for us, there were 2 big things that we wanted to talk to people about. One of those was what Governor Lee has put into his budget for this year, and that's $30 million to THDA. And that money is going to be a revolving pool that will be available for local lenders to lend out to construction companies, home builders, and interest-free construction loans for starter homes. Doesn't matter where the house is being built. It can't be more than 1,500 square feet, and the end product has to be sold to owner-occupied individuals. So the idea here is that if we can cut some of the costs, make it more economically advantageous for home builders to build starter homes, there will be more of those available across the state for first-time home buyers. And I thought that was really cool.
It's to subsidize the construction loans.
Yeah. So it is your construction loan. It doesn't subsidize it. It's you.
That's what I mean.
It would be your construction loan. THGA is not doing the loans. They're making the money available to local lenders who have the relationships with the builders and have the knowledge and the insight and can administer the different draws and the funding stages and everything that goes into doing a construction loan, which I think is great too, because they're saying, hey, look, we know we're not experts in this. We're going to get out of the way. We're going to let you guys do the loans. We're just going to give you the money and make it interest free. So the bank will be able to make a % or 2 on the transaction for handling it, but the loan itself will not have any interest.
So, and to fill you guys in, typically a construction loan, short term, 6 months, a year, whatever, maybe slightly longer if there's development involved as well. But they sit at 7, 8, maybe even 9%.
Yeah.
So if that rate gets cut to 1 or 2 just to cover the administrative costs, that's significant.
Yeah, and it's not a 1 or 2% like an interest rate. It'd be just like the points. Like you just it'd be a one-time fee that the bank can charge.
So is the bank not allowed to charge interest on it?
Correct. Yeah, the bank is not going to make any. There's no interest. The money is interest free.
So it's just an origination of some sort.
Yep.
I see.
So and then the beauty of it is it's a revolving fund. So as it goes through, and I say, hey, I'm building a house, I'm building a starter home. I turn around, I use this THGA money to build it. House is built. Jonathan comes along and brings a client who buys the house. Well, that money gets paid off. It goes back into THGA's coffers for them to make available to the next person. So it's a revolving fund. So what we were talking with our legislators yesterday was, how we think this could benefit the economy, how we think this could benefit home affordability. Those are the main 2 things. And we felt pretty confident that it's going to get through the House. We're not sure about what will happen at the Senate. They wanted to tell us, they told us to tell all the representatives and the senators this is already in Governor Lee's proposed budget. It's there. It's $30 million earmarked for this. Now, the political process works like this. Governor Lee presents a budget, goes to legislator, and they start carving things up, and they're taking things out here, moving this money here and that. And so we want this to stay protected. We want these funds to be left alone and not carved out. Last year, from what I heard, and I've not researched this, so I can't say it 100% accuracy, but from what I heard last year, the same thing was in there, but it was double. It was $60 million, and it got cut out.
Altogether,
it made it through the House, but the Senate. I think last year there was some politics at play because the Senate carved up a lot from Governor Lee's budget last year. So I think there might have been a lot of politics going on there with that. So what we hope here is that this will stay apolitical. This is both sides of the aisle can agree on affordability is important, and this is a good thing for us to do.
Is there any kind of strings attached to where the end buyer is encouraged to use THGA or anything like that?
No. There's not. They don't have to use THGA to buy.
Okay.
They can use whatever kind of financing. Now, if they do use THGA to buy, great. They don't have to. They can. I would imagine a lot of them will use THGA to buy.
Sure.
They are going to be starter homes. It fits the bill, the demographic for what you're looking for there.
So from a THGA standpoint, it's good to incentivize the builders to build the homes that the consumer would use their product. You see, like the big
THGA's purchase price limit is $400,000 across the state. You cannot spend more than $400,000 and get a THGA loan.
That's incredibly hard in Rutherford County.
Yeah. So
unless it's a townhome.
So this could help THGA be able to originate more loans because there'll be hopefully more homes that are in the price point where somebody using their programs can afford the home.
All right. Well, hey, it's something. Yeah. I'm not mad at that.
The other thing that we were there to talk about, and I won't spend as much time on this because it's not something that I do or many people do, but it's something that I've done a pivot on as far as my maybe my understanding of them has grown some to where I can see where there's a need for them now, but it's reverse mortgages. So in Tennessee,
did you see my face?
Yeah, I did. So in Tennessee, like 32 years ago, it became legal to do reverse mortgages in the state of Tennessee, but only through FHA. And to this day, there's been no changes to that. So in other states, they can do reverse mortgages with conventional programs, different brokers, different options that are available for reverse mortgages. But in Tennessee, it can only be done through FHA, which presents some challenges because they have lower loan limits. And as we see, properties in some parts of Tennessee have escalated way past where people could really use a reverse mortgage to access the amount of equity that they should be able to. And also another thing is with reverse mortgages with the FHA program, no other debt can be paid off at closing. So if you, here's where.
So real quick, give us 30 seconds on what is a reverse mortgage.
So a reverse mortgage it's very similar to a home equity line of credit from a standpoint of it's a way that you can access the equity in your home. Where it differs from a home equity line of credit, and this is the key thing for people to understand, and I've got a perfect scenario where I had a client who could not get approved for a mortgage or a home equity line of credit at all. She was on a fixed income. Her Social Security was fine. Her and her husband were getting along just fine, had plenty of money coming in. Her husband died. She lost his Social Security benefit. Now she's got to go through.
At best, her income is half.
Yeah, and her Social Security was nowhere near what his was. So now she's very, very much limited on her income coming in. She has a home to pay for. We can't approve her to borrow against that.
She has no income.
She has no income to pay it back. With a reverse mortgage, you put a lien on the house. It's non-recourse, so the lien can never be more than what the home is worth. So, with a reverse mortgage, unfortunately, she wasn't able to qualify for even a reverse mortgage. And this property was in Florida, so it's not even a Tennessee thing. But they look at factors such as age. They look at factors such as what their income is. They look at factors such as how much equity there is, because the investor that's doing this knows they're non-recourse, doesn't want to put themselves in a position where they end up upside down on the house. So all of these different things are in play. But this was the only way. A reverse mortgage was the only real way for her to be able to get enough out to be able to have the quality of life that she wanted to have. I always say this: home equity is a wonderful part of your net worth, but there's only two ways to access it, and that's either selling the asset or borrowing against it. So this is just a different way someone can borrow against it. Let's put the shoe on the other foot and say she was able to get approved for a HELOC. Okay, so now she's got a HELOC. She's got, $80,000 on a line of credit. The next time she wants to take a trip, she can pull some money out of the HELOC and take the trip. She can, if she's short on bills,
AC
1 month,
goes out, whatever.
AC goes out. She has an emergency, she can pull it. But guess what? The next month there's a payment on that draw that she took out. So now her expenses have gone up. Whereas with the reverse mortgage, the money just comes out to her, and all the interest and everything is added back in.
So essentially, let's be really dumb here, okay? So essentially, let's say I have a $500,000 value house. I can take, let's say, I'm sure there's an LTV on there. Let's say it's $450K. They take that money and they put a lien against the house for $450K, and then every month they send me a check for whatever $3,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yep.
And then that debt builds up. If I die before it's 450, then the payoff on there is 230,000 or whatever.
Right.
Then if the house gets sold or whatever, that debt has to be paid off.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly how it works. And what we wanted to tell the legislators that we're meeting with was that this would, by adding more product options and giving, you just increase competition,
right? Which
is usually for most markets not a bad thing. The other thing that it does is it does not strip away any of the federal protections that are in place for reverse mortgages. So home counseling or that product counseling is still required. Other factors that are in play that protect the homeowners, the fact that they're non-recourse. Those
Explain that to me. Non-recourse. They can't foreclose.
They cannot. I don't know if it means they can't foreclose or not, but the way that it was described in the meetings yesterday was that the loan balance can never be more than the home is worth.
But what if the value of the house drops?
Doesn't matter. The investor is on the hook for whatever the difference is.
So run a scenario.
Yeah,
we did this in 2020. My house value was 500. The market drops off a little bit, and let's say in 2026, I pass away, and the house is only worth 420, but I've already taken 500.
Yeah.
What happens then?
The investor's on the hook for the 80,000. They will sell the property. The estate will sell the property. Whatever it sells for, will be applied to the balance on that lien, and then whatever the difference is washed away.
Got it.
That's why there are very much lower loan to value requirements on reverse mortgages.
So it might only be 70% or whatever.
Right. So and age factors into it as well. So the
That makes
older
sense.
a client is, maybe the higher the LTV they can go to, because they're not going to live as long as it.
And there's a shorter window for the.
Right. So I think, and don't quote me on these numbers, but like for FHA, I think the minimum age for being able to do this is 62. So if somebody's 60 and
they can't even do it.
They can't do it. But with a lot of the other options, they'll go down to like 55. So it just opens up the opportunity for there to be more people to take advantage of these programs. This is a very niche thing. There are very few mortgage lenders who do reverse mortgages and regular mortgages. There it is. So the people that were there yesterday, we had 3 or 4 like reverse mortgage experts there to talk about this program. Who that's their niche. That's what they do. That's what they do. So if this is something that you're interested in and would like some more information, I'll be happy to talk with anyone. But we're probably going to be bringing in somebody that can really be an expert on that.
Interesting. Okay. All right. What do we got next?
This is real.
This is real.
Yeah. Can you turn the brightness up a little bit? I can't really see anything.
That's literally.
They're a Denver Broncos fan.
Yeah. Look, the cactus and the lips in the window sill.
Yeah. So this is one of those scenarios where you're better off just not taking it.
I see the Broncos, the hat thing.
Yeah. I mean, turn the light on. Make sure the fan. Oh, and that fan's gross too, by the way.
Oh yeah, look at the dust on that.
Leave the fan off. Turn the light on. Or how about this? Just say, yes, there's another bedroom in this house.
That works.
All right. Cheers.
What else?
How about a pro tip?
Pro tip.
Could be.
You were totally making that up. It all just looked black.
No, go back. Can you put that picture back up? We said we're moving on.
Just closed it.
It's all right. Brian thinks there's an accent wall.
Wait, I'm looking at it on Trent's computer, and the resolution on this TV is completely different, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's red.
One of those walls is green, and the other one's maroon.
Yeah,
Lovely.
So what we saw on our screen here is not what the viewers
How
saw.
very 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
It did look very 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, our pro tip. This one's simple. And I'm talking to agent friends, but I'm also talking to prospective clients. Okay. And the name of the game, the one word that I'm going to give you is preview. So yesterday I went and previewed some houses, learned a lot about a neighborhood that I wasn't super familiar with. And I will tell you, it made the pricing. I have a listing coming up in that neighborhood, and it made the pricing of that neighborhood, or that listing rather, much more crystallized to me. So get out and preview. Looking at something online, looking at listings online does not give you the full picture of what your competition is. And clients, sellers, go with your agent to preview. And if your agent isn't previewing, you probably ought to hire a different one.
So okay. So you're previewing. You're going into the houses in your neighborhood that you're competing with, acting like you're going to buy them.
Nope. I tell them I am previewing your house.
Okay, so we can see what our competition is.
Yeah, and the logic is really simple. If you went into Best Buy and you said, "Hey, I want a TV," and the washing machine person came over and was like, "Well, I don't know anything about any of these TVs. How about you buy that one?"
Yeah.
Well, they don't know their inventory.
Yeah.
So what's my inventory?
Yeah.
Right. I need to be out previewing.
Yeah. That's good advice. Very, very good advice.
Yep. So agents, if you're not previewing, get out there. Do it.
And as a home owner, I would love to do that. I'd love to go into some of my neighbors' houses.
Well, that got creepy, Brian.
And just see what their floor plan looks like.
See what's in there.
See what
drawers.
No, I'm not going to open any drawers. I'm not going to open any cabinet doors or anything like that. I'm not going to be going through somebody's closet. But
no, but it makes sense.
But it does. Like, okay, like, and then when your realtor says, "Did you see how much nicer their house was than yours? Did you notice the trim, the tile flooring, the things, the upgrades they've got that you don't have?"
And it doesn't come through in pictures a lot of times.
And that's why sometimes it's not that on the appraisal, a lot of those things are going to appraise out just the same. There's not going to be big adjustments for their upgrades, but it's going to make their house more desirable.
That's
and
it.
So if you're priced at the same, yeah, you might appraise for what they sold for, but yours is not going to attract the offers. You have to discount your price for somebody to say,
I'm willing to do that.
I'm willing to buy
Yeah.
your house for $10,000
And
less.
so what I cook that down to is there's a big difference in value and price.
Yes.
Right. And so value is what an appraiser talks about. Value is what on your side of things they care about, just getting to that bottom value. On my side, price is a marketing tool.
Yeah.
Right. And it is a way to motivate someone to make an offer on that house. And so, this is why people ask me before we list a lot of times, should I get an appraisal? And I'm like, you can if you want, but I'm not really going to pay attention to it, to be honest with you, because it's a marketing tool. Right. Yeah. And so if you say, I keep using this number, you say, I want to list my house at 500K. I want to look at every house that's 450 to 550 and then force rank them and see, does your house fall in the middle?
Yeah.
Or is it actually use a different form of the word value? Is it a better value? And so it really makes that 525 person look stupid.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And now it's going to motivate. You're going to move to the top of the list. It's curb appeal. It is using that price as a marketing tool.
Yeah.
And it's not the same thing as value.
Great points. That is a fantastic pro tip. Maybe the best pro tip we've had this year.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, bingo card.
Yeah.
Trent still doesn't. Didn't have that on my bingo card.
What we got?
All right. My bingo card is real simple. I did not have on my bingo card a 75-degree day on February 28th.
No doubt.
Now, how does this play into real estate? So first of all, plays into our successful festival.
Yeah.
Air knucks on that one. But here's how it plays into real estate. I tell people that the spring selling season starts on the first warm day that people think is going to be the first real warm day.
Yeah.
And it's going to stick around.
Yeah.
Right. So do we think that we're going to have, I don't even know what they're called anymore, another winter of some sort,
The third winter.
whatever it is.
I just looked at the 15-day forecast and I don't think so.
Blackberry winter,
We're here.
Mayfly winter, whatever the heck they're called. But anyways, if we're here, if this is when we think it's going to stay warm, well then guess what? Spring selling season this year started February 28th.
Yeah.
So to be determined.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, from my perspective, I'm showing a lot of houses right now.
Yeah.
And so definitely some folks are getting out there and doing that. So if you have been, if your agent said wait till April or May or whatever, the selling season has started, I think.
I completely agree.
So it's time.
Interest rates also being lower this late stage winter has kind of added fuel to that.
Yeah.
So an earlier start to the spring season, because even as nice as Saturday was on the 28th, the weather the weekend before was great too.
Mm-hmm.
So things have really picked up. People ask me all the time, "Hey man, are you busy? How's business?" And I'm busy.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always room for more.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got? Is that it?
We had some of your listings to show.
Oh, okay. What you got?
Let's see.
I really just want to talk about one. Can you pull up 2232 Oak Haven?
Yes.
We'll talk about that land another day, but let's look at this one. Yeah. All right, y'all. Listen, we had this listed before. We pulled it off and have significantly improved this listing. So it is now 1.28 acres. It is a very wide lot. It is secluded, but it is right in the middle of Murfreesboro. So even that second picture there, Trent, that does not show the whole lot. So there's more lot on either side of that picture, which is kind of awesome. So we painted, we did some new flooring. Go back up. Keep going. Oh, there you go. Look at the right-hand picture, that little footbridge. There, that is a kind of the right-hand side of the lot. There's a fire pit over there. You can see in the picture on the left. It is an exceptionally wide lot, and it's awesome. So 1.28 acres, fresh paint, fresh flooring, fresh appliances.
It's literally right off of Northfield.
Yeah,
It is.
It's 3 minutes off of Northfield, right off of Jones. So right in the middle of town. It is secluded. It's beautiful. And it's, I mean, here's the thing. We're at 449 on that. You could go in and put your own fingerprints on it and still stay way under what that house's ultimate value would be. It's 2,000 square feet on one level, 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, hardwood floors. There's no carpet in the house. But get this, there's also a truly 2-car plus garage. Like you can pull a full-size truck in and still have a toolbox in front of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's nice. So
that's what happens when you get houses that weren't built in this century.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. It's an awesome house. So if you're interested in seeing that, let me know. And it's at the end of a cul-de-sac. I mean, it really is special.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. Cool. I think that's it.
Awesome. Great
All
show.
right.
Good
Great
times.
show. Nice.
Awesome.
Any events that we need to talk about?
I don't know.
Girl Scout cookies and beer on Saturday at 2:00 here at Cedar Glade. A portion of every ticket for the experience goes to the Girl Scout troop that will also be there selling cookies. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So cool. Very nice.
All right, y'all. We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for listening to another episode of This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your go-to resource for all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. We will see y'all on the next one.
Now for the nitty-gritty. Premise Mortgage Company is a subsidiary of Premise Bank, a member FDIC. Premise Mortgage NMLS number 1894879, BK number 1042893, ML number 1894879. As always, all loans are subject to credit approval and product guidelines. Equal housing lender.